सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ॐ शन्नो मित्र शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः। नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मावतु तद्वक्तारम् अवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So we are learning about the 5 koshas, and we did the Annamaya kosha first, and then we learned about Pranamaya kosha. And the Pranamaya kosha, it talked about, it being different, 5 different pranas and all that. We did all that. And then it started with the Manomaya kosha already, right? So this one is, so the last one, what did it say? It was a big one, last one. So different from, of that former, the prana, Annamaya, the Pranamaya is the Atman. That's what it said, the previous one. And then different from this Pranamaya, self made up of the prana, there's another self constituted of the mind. That's what we were doing, the Manomaya kosha. With that self made of mind, the Pranamaya is full, means it's telling that uska akar waisa hi hai. And this is also form of a man on different parts uske bataye. And then it said that it's talked about Vedas ko bola ki it's a part, all different parts of Vedas, and there was a hidden meaning behind it. And it said that Yajur Veda was his head, Rig was his right side, Rig or Samaveda, and the scriptural injunction was its body, and then Adesh was that, and then the last one, the Atharva Veda, was its base. It had all the secular knowledge. And then what one of the Swamis was mentioning, that how that when Manomaya koshas is filled with all these mantras of Vedas and teaching, then the sadhak becomes fit to enter the other koshas. Uske bina wo kar hi nahi payega, because they are getting more and more subtle. So, people will not recognize it until your mind is little for the higher knowledge. So that was a very good symbolism why they said this. So with that, we go to this. They're talking a little bit more, and this is very interesting verse, and Swamiji kind of explained. It looks out of place right now, but there is a reason for it, and we'll see what it says. So the verse is Yato Vachaha Nivartante Aprapya Manasasaha Anandam Brahmano Vidwan Na Vibheti Kadachana Iti Tasya Esha Eva Sharira Atma Ya Purvasya. Yata is when, Vacha means all speech, Nivartante, turns back. वहां से लौट के वापस आ जाती है. That's what it means. अप्राप्य, without reaching it. कोई चीज कहीं पहुंच के और बिना उसको हासिल के वापस आ गई. Something like that, huh? We'll see what it means. मनसा सह, along with the mind, means mind लौट के वापस आ गया. Speech और mind दोनों, मतलब क्या बोलते हैं ना, लौट के बुद्धू घर को आए. कहावत है हिंदी में, वो हो गया इन लोगों के साथ, मन और बात. And we'll see what it means. लौट के बुद्धू घर को आ गए. Anandam, bliss. We know Anand. Brahmanaha is Brahman. Vidwan, the one who knows. No, not. Vibheti, fears. Kadachana, at any time. Iti is thus. Tasya is that. Esha is this. Verily. Eva is verily, sorry. Sharira Atma, the embodied self. So like I was explaining, they have used this word Atma many times to show the superiority of something. Okay, like Manomaya kosha is Atma for the Pranamaya Kosha. Pranamaya Kosha is Atma for the Annamaya Kosha. It's the superior, uski wajah se wo chalta hai, not the other way around. That's what it means. It's a little technical thing. And the ultimate Atma is that Brahman. But they just use this over here to show the superiority and subtlety. So Sharir Atma, the embodied self, Yah is who, Purvasya of the former. So suddenly, this verse comes, which says something very kind of, I'll say in Hindi, then Hindi mein just kind of a word meaning, but it has a lot of hidden meaning in it. But Hindi ka thoda, when I read it, the meaning, you will get what they are trying to say, just the word meaning. यदि मनुष्य ब्रह्म के आनंद को जानता है तो वह सबके लिए भय सदा के लिए फिर से लेट मी से इट अगेन यदि मनुष्य ब्रह्मन के आनंद को जानता है तो वह सदा के लिए भय से मुक्त हो जाता है. So that we understood that once you know Brahman, you have become fearless. लेकिन यदि वह ब्रह्म के आनंद को नहीं जानता तब उसकी वाणी और उसकी श्रुतियां उसके मन के साथ बिना ब्रह्म को प्राप्त किए वापस लौट आती हैं. But there is a big hidden meaning behind it, and I will explain what Swamiji is saying. यह मनोमय पुरुष वास्तव में उस पूर्व प्राणाधार जीवन के शरीर की आत्मा है. So that's what the word meaning of this is. So now what it is that this is very interesting. This particular verse, absolute verbatim, the 2 lines, 3 line है ना इसमें. So the पहली 2 line जो है, 4 parts of it, is repeated verbatim in Anuvak 9. जब सारे कोश वोश सब समझा दिया जाएंगे ना यहाँ, उसके बाद ये लाइन डाली. तो इधर वापस क्यों डाली फिर? लाइक इज इट लाइक अ मिस्टेक? होते हैं ना, छापने में कुछ गलती हो गई कि क्या हुआ? नहीं, कोई रीजन है यहाँ पर डालने का. सो उसमें खाली एक ही वर्ड अलग है. दिस यहाँ पर जो वर्ड है ना, कदाचन इति. कदाचन इति मीन्स any time. It's referring to time. And जो वो अनुवाक 9 में एग्जैक्ट मीनिंग एग्जैक्ट वर्ड्स है, उसमें ये लास्ट को चेंज किया गया और उसमें बोला गया एनी नॉट टाइम, क्या बोला गया है, एनी टाइम एनीथिंग. यस, इट हैज सेड दैट इट हैज फियर विद नथिंग कॉजेज फियर. ओके, और यहाँ एनी टाइम देर इज नो फियर. दोनों का मीनिंग सेम ही है, but just encompassing the whole thing. So now the question is, what is this 2 lines saying and why they repeated it twice? Why they repeated it over here prematurely? We are not ready for it yet. So and what Swamiji is saying, that actually it is more appropriate at Anuvak 9, these 2 lines, but here they put it because what happens is, it's like you are learning a subject, suppose, and you're very much interested in that subject. It's totally new for you, say some science subject I'm learning, and then the whole course is going to be 1 year, suppose. It's just an example I'm giving. And then after about 3 months, you get very curious. You want to know कि end में होता क्या है. Like कोई novel पढ़ रहे हो. I don't know if you guys do that. I don't like to do that. But some people told me when they used to अभी तो कोई novel और पढ़ने का किसको time है, when you're younger, जब novel पढ़ रहे होते तो जाके end का जल्दी से पढ़ लेते हैं. Because you can't wait. So that's what it is. So the teacher knows कि ये students को बड़ी curiosity हो रही है कि मेरे को भगवान दिखाओ. अभी बोले कोशा कर रहे हो, 3 कोशा पहुंच गए हैं, अभी और कितना जाओगे? I want to see God. So वो टाइम पे उनको बोला, hello, it's not that easy. You cannot see God like this. तुम्हारी वाणी से तुम डिस्क्राइब नहीं कर सकते उसको, तुम्हारे मन से उसको पकड़ नहीं सकते हो. That's what this one is saying. कि वो वहां तक जाके मन और वाणी वापस लौट आ जाते हैं. See what I'm saying? अभी कोशा खत्म नहीं हुआ है ये सब, but just giving the advanced information, because the student is thinking, right now they are talking more of a gross stuff. You know what is gross stuff meaning? Not the current meaning of gross, that it is something bad or dirty, not like that. Gross means subtle and gross. Yeah? So अभी तक अन्नमय कोश की बात की, which is everybody can understand. I can see my body. Nobody needs to, it's not a rocket science in there, right? Where it's coming from. I'm eating food, so it's increasing. And then prana also I can see, but I'm taking the breath. Pranas are actually coming from all 5 elements. You're taking the breath, you're taking the food, your sunlight is also pranas only. And then somebody said that Akash is like thoughts in you, and all that. So all pancha pranas you're getting from all 5 elements. Wo I can kind of comprehend. Mind also, there is a part of it I can comprehend. Nobody can show, hey, this is the mind, but I know I have thoughts. Comprehend. Abhi settle hota jayega. Like when you go to Vijnanamaya Kosh, you have to think about what it is and things like that. So when the students are looking at all these koshas, so they have an idea that Brahman is also an object only. The teacher will be able to point to it. Hey, this is Brahman. That's what the teacher is saying, no, hello, you can't, I won't be able to do that. That's what it's telling you in these 2 lines. That Atman is a subject. Just a modern language mein bolte hain na, subject and object. So this is the subject. This is, within you. And a subject cannot be looked at as an object. Okay? Because this is how Swamiji will explain that in all the worldly science, objectively you can understand everything. वो लैब्स होती थी ना, जो लोग साइंटिस्ट वगैरह हैं, लाइक माई हस्बैंड एंड ऑल, उनकी तो बाद में भी वो सब होता था, पर मैं फॉर मी द लैब वाज अप टू हाई स्कूल. दे यूज्ड टू हैव फिजिक्स एंड दे यूज्ड टू हैव फिजिक्स लैब, right? You go there and do experiments, so they can show you as objectively something. So this is how, and so far we've mentioned that all the these objects were gross objects, so I could see that. And then here they are warning it, say, look, this Brahman, you cannot get it by speech. I cannot describe you what Brahman is. So when it says speech goes there and turns back, that's what it means. And then you cannot grasp Brahman by your body, mind, or intellect. That's why you have to transcend it. Why? Because it is you yourself are that. So a subject cannot become object. And then Swamiji will explain, these Rishi Munis, they were not ordinary people. When they made a statement, they did a lot of research on it. And they actually analyzed it to explain it to students. So then he's going to explain that there are only 4 categories of things that you can describe by words. Everything that you can in the world you can describe by, and they call it Jati, Gun, Kriya, and Sambandh. So Jati means different species. When they say species, it doesn't mean the only live species. Huh? That's not what it means. Jo technical word Jati means, they say tables are all one Jati. Chairs are all another Jati. See what I'm saying? So I say categories. So either you can describe it by Jati or Gunas. This is cold, this is hot, this is big, this is small. Those are called Gunas. Kriya, action. You can describe by words, I'm running, I'm sleeping, this, that you can describe. Relationship. This person is my husband, my son, my brother, my sister. So these are the only 4 type of things. And they have done research, so you can do your own experiment. Take any word and see if it fits into 4. And it will. But he's saying Brahman doesn't have any of these characteristics. It doesn't have any Jati, it doesn't have any Gunas, it doesn't have any Kriya, it doesn't have any Sambandh. So how are you going to describe it? You cannot. It's simple. So they came to that conclusion. But how do we understand this? So the best way to understand it is the worldly example. That they say, if I'm looking through the telescope outside at the stars or at the ocean or whatever I want to see, I can see the whole world through that. I cannot see myself because I am the subject. I am looking, that's why I cannot see. And then Swamiji gave another brilliant example when we go there, saying, when you're driving a car, you cannot be run over by your own car. You can run somebody else. See what I'm saying? It's just not possible. That's why the Vani and the Man cannot get it. Third thing is which I had heard before, and it is also quite marvelous, and I've discussed it. We cannot see our own eye because we are behind it. अब किसी को चैलेंज करो, अपनी आंख देख के दिखाओ, वो बोलेगा, oh, when I see in the mirror, you're seeing a reflection. You're not seeing your own eye at all. So nobody can ever see their own eye. That's the truth. So these are the proof that, the subject, you cannot see the subject as an object. But that doesn't mean that you cannot recognize it. That's why they always say self-realization. You can realize it that you are the subject. That's what it means. So that's why this light factor cannot be an object. And then the second part is very important. It says that the one who realizes this Atman within himself, right? That person feels no fear at any time. And then the way one of the Swamis were explaining that fear only happens when there is a duality. Whenever there is a oneness, there is no fear. Do we ever fear our own family? Unless somebody become a gunda or something, then it's a different thing. But what I'm saying is when you feel the oneness, you never fear. When you think koi aur hai, koi aa jayega, duality, that's why. So the person who thinks that the whole cosmos is himself only, what will he fear about? He's not going to fear about anything. And then somebody say, oh, I'll get killed and all. They know I'm not the body. They are not telling you that don't be fearful and all. That's not, this is the philosophy they are telling you. So don't misunderstand what they are trying to say. We need to be, we need to have some fear so that we do the right thing. But at the spiritual level, they don't have any fear. That's what it means, So, and as I was saying, this exact same thing except one exception. यहाँ पर बताया कि he will not have fear any time. But the next verse, when it comes, the same one, in Anuvak section 9, it's going to say that he does not have fear of anything. It's the same thing. They're just telling it two different ways. So this is just a glimpse of what they are getting. And then the other thing is when they are talking about the fearlessness over here, they are talking about that state of perfection. We are not there yet. So तो जो सेल्फ रियलाइज हो जाता है ना, वो ट्रूली फियरलेस बनता है. उसके पहले हमको किसी न किसी का फियर तो होगा ही. So they are talking about that state of perfection here, giving the glimpse into it, And then what Swamiji is going to explain when we do I don't know if we might have time to read the whole thing, that these people who got self-realized and became fearless, they were the only people who could stand against anything in the world. They will hold on to what they want to say and they're not going to be scared of anything. And like even, in the other religions and all that you see, or other cultures you see that, for example, Socrates, well, if you know about Socrates, he was a philosopher. And he made some statements and those people didn't like it in Greece. So they ट्रायल कर दिया कि भाई ये ही इज अगेंस्ट गॉड एंड ऐसा कुछ भी इसके ऊपर इल्ज़ाम लगाया गया और उसको जहर दे दी. बोले जहर से मरेगा ये, इसको जहर पीना पड़ेगा. तो उसके जो फ्रेंड्स थे ना, वो बोले कि हम तुमको निकाल सकते हैं यहाँ से. We can get you out and we can save your life. He's saying my life is on this earth is not to save my life. I want to tell people what I came here to tell. So he actually took the jahar or he died. So they have no fear. Or Jesus, usko सूली पे चढ़ा दिया and he's saying, oh, please forgive these people. They don't know what they are doing. He didn't say कि ये लोग ने इसने मुझे इतना पीटा, इसको उनको भी पीटो. They have become totally fearless. For them, it's, nothing. So that's what they're trying to say about this fearlessness and introducing in here, Have the courage, that kind of courage. So, and then, there were a couple of one or two points that were very interesting that I heard, and I thought I'll share it before we read it. That they're talking about all the koshas, right? And they are taking you they are telling you that, hey, the Vani doesn't reach there, the mind doesn't reach there. So somebody said, how can that be now? How will I get it? So it was Nikhilanandji's one of the lectures, and he said, actually, in deep sleep, we say, no, it's the closest to Brahman. And just think about it in deep sleep. Vani doesn't reach there. Speech is not connected to the deep sleep. The mind is not connected. Intellect is not connected there. So even in our own experience, we experience that state where all these things are not connected. And that's where I don't feel any sadness. I don't feel any pain. I don't feel any trouble of any kind. I could be in severe pain during the day. If I have a deep sleep, I don't have it. Everybody, deep sleep is the same quality. I'm not talking about the restless sleep, when you are dreaming and all that. That can be different for people. Deep sleep quality is the same for everybody. No matter what you have, there's no connection over there. But because you are identified with the Brahman over there without these BMI, body, mind, intellect. And when we come back from that experience, everybody feels rested. Everybody says, this is such a happy time. Anand. Bliss का कुछ अनुभूति हमारे में है, right? Experience. So that's what it is, But what he was saying, the only problem with the deep sleep is ignorance is not gone there. That's why we don't have we don't experience it, that Brahman, because ignorance is still there. And then that ignorance has to be negated in the waking world. Then only we will get that. I thought that was a very interesting point he said. And then we will get abidance in the Brahman when the ignorance is gone. So any question about this verse or any comment? So, but everybody got the gist, no? What they're trying to say. Okay, any volunteers to read? So I have to call upon the same. Meena ji, Anil ji, one of you can read. Whoever wants to. Go ahead, Meena ji, then.
Okay.
Or you can read half. It's a lot. I don't know how much we will go, but if you get tired, you can let Anil ji read.
Okay. Whence all the speech turned back with the mind without reaching it, that is the eternal truth, the Brahman. He who knows the bliss of eternal truth, the Brahman, fears not at any time. This mind is the embodied soul of the Pranamaya. Of this Pranamaya, the Manomaya is the self. Shankara in this commentary happens to drop this line without commenting on it, word by word, since the same mantra is again quoted in the 9th section where he goes into it exhaustively. Following Shankara's commentary, there are a host of Panditas who have dared to claim that this is an unnecessary portion worthy to be eschewed. Personally, I would feel that this claim can be justified only if we accept that the critic has failed to appreciate fully the work of a teacher among a host of his disciples. If the teacher took his profession seriously and he is faithful to his duties, then he has not only to explain the theme, which is expounding in a masterly way, but he has to also to prepare his grounds to guide the students to a greater state of knowledge.
So here, like I had explained, that this 2 lines are repeated later on. It's more appropriate over there, but they are putting it over here to put you in the right track. That's all they're trying to do, and it's not unnecessary. That's what they're saying. Some people, in a haste, they might say, hey, why did there's a print, gadbad ho gaya ki kya ho gaya? No, they purposely put it because they want to put them on the right track.
This Vedic mantra quoted, though indicating the supreme infinite reality, is here used by the teacher of the Upanishad to indicate the mind. In a human life, mind plays such an all-important part that to consider the mind as the very truth in the body is but a pleasant and poetic exaggeration.
So he's just saying that, the students don't know yet their ultimate, what they are getting into. But mind also, some people might say that, oh, mind is Atma, But they're just saying that just a poetic exaggeration, but that's not it.
The students of that age, unpardonably impatient to know and to live the perfections promised in the Vedas, cannot brook any lengthy discourses which expound theories of matter and spirit unless they directly indicate a path by which they can come to experience it.
So he's just saying the students are getting a little impatient over here, and they say, oh yeah, itne lambi baatein bol rahe, come to the bottom line. Don't they say in the world also, come to the bottom line? But मेरे को एक दृष्टांत याद आया, huh? So it seems that one mother goes to one Swami and says, my child doesn't listen to me, and we know this, right? We all are moms and dads. We know whatever they say, especially when they become teenager. They won't. You can say it 100 times, they won't listen to you. So you're saying that, what do I do? I'm so frustrated. So uske guru ne bola, I'm also frustrated. Kitni बार बोला you are Brahman, but तुमको भी समझ में नहीं आता है. So that's what it is. That it's like we get impatient, but that's why they have to keep repeating it, I guess.
By now, listening to the teacher's talk in the Upanishad, the students were getting rather intellectually impatient, and perhaps traces of it were evident on their faces. The description of how the 5 elements came, the details of the food sheath, all these endless narrations excited but impatience in the mind of the students who were hungry to know and thirsty to live the experience of the truth. The teacher, being so well tuned with all the disciples, implicitly understood the mind of the taught, and therefore, in order to keep them engaged in a better spirit of thrilled joy and deep earnestness, gave a talk which would seem to us, in our hasty reading, out of place here.
So now we know, right, why they put this in the prematurely, to guide them ki bhai, don't start thinking that Brahman is an object. That's why.
Again, this mantra gives a necessary warning to those students who are not giving the necessary amount of their intellectual cooperation, but are only blinking or depending upon the Guru's words, which are so far very clear and precise, in the hope that at one point of this discourse, the teacher will be able to point out the Atman and indicate it as an object.
तो मतलब he's just picturing this कि वो ऐसे ध्यान लगा के सुन रहे हैं कि कब बोलेगा ये कि ये है भगवान. नहीं, पहले ही बोल दिया कि disappoint कर दिया उन लोगों को.
The theme of the Upanishads is the spiritual entity in ourselves. The Atman, being an eternal subject, cannot be objectively indicated. All other sciences are, in varying degrees, objective in their scope and treatment, and therefore an ordinary educated student would expect the teacher to conclude his discourses, ultimately holding up to their gaze the self. To indicate that the self is neither available for physical perception nor for mental and intellectual comprehension, we have this mantra quoted here by the teacher, so that the students may nicely sharpen and finally adjust a little more their attunement with the teacher. And this is unavoidable. The subject matter so far was relatively grosser and could be easily comprehended, since they were talking about the gross body and the expressions of vitality in themselves. But the mental and the intellectual personalities into which the theme of the discourse is now introducing the students are indeed subtler and therefore This warning is quite timely and highly useful to the students.
So we saw that how that, when we were talking about the food sheet, it was easy for them to understand. Then, pranamaya, they had to think a little bit. Now manomaya a little more. अब इसके आगे तो और भी ज़्यादा subtle होने वाला है, तो पहले ही बोल दिया कि भाई words वगैरह में नहीं जाना. It requires deep thinking and understanding and all that. And so he's just making it tuned to the teacher by saying कि अभी जो बोलते हैं ना कि which arena you have to go into, get ready for it.
Yeah, preparing them.
Preparing to go unknown. जैसे कि वो एक आता था ना शो, Star Trek वगैरह, going where no man has gone before. That's what this one is.
Maybe Anilji wants to read now after
Okay.
this.
Yes, Anilji can take over.
All right. Whence all speech turned back, all other themes in the word can be fully and forcibly expressed or painted in words. But when it comes to the self, words fail. By saying so, the rishis are not trying to avoid a direct demand of the student class. They are only giving expression to a fact that is accepted by the very science of language.
So basically, Swamiji is saying language is limited. And you don't even have to go as far as Brahman. Sometimes we cannot even describe the worldly stuff. किसी को तुम समझाने की समझो, you got very impressed with something. And the other person think, oh, there's nothing. And you are trying so hard to tell, oh, मैंने ऐसा देखा था, ये था. We also fail. But खैर, वो तो दूर की बात है. But he's just saying that scientifically they have analyzed, and I already gave you some idea, and let's see what he's saying now.
So, Umaji, this is why we call it self-realization.
Exactly. That you realize it, you cannot, what would be the other word? I don't know, kya hoga?
There's no other word.
No, right. No. Self-understand, I don't know. Koi hai nahi. Exactly. You realize who you are. Exactly. Yes.
Though words have a mighty power and they can paint ideas, report incidents, express emotions, and enunciate truths, they have their own limitations. There are occasions in life when words must necessarily fail when we try to express them. The great rishis of old, with their acute intelligence, had very scientifically analyzed the capacities in words and found that the entire realm of things and happenings that is expressed in terms of words can all be conveniently grouped under 4 headings. Words can explain species, jati, the attributes, guna, the activities, kriya, relationship between things, sambandh.
Yeah, so it is, species is jati. That's what it is. I know it sounds like jati, but that's what it is. Jati, guna, jati, guna, kriya, or sambandh. So we discussed that those are the only things. Or like sometimes जब कोई चीज एकदम हम लोग को बहुत wondrous चीज होती है, तो हम लोग बोलते हैं ना कि हमारा मुंह भी खुला का खुला रह जाता है, like करके, like I don't know how to say. So in one of the Upanishads it is there that end का जो verse है ना, that person who's realized the Brahman, उसका मुंह खुला का खुला रह गया करके, और he couldn't say anything. Something like that is there. So that's what it is. But they are just explaining scientifically. If somebody wants to analyze it, they have given that analysis also.
If a thing falls under any species, it can be expressed in terms of words such as table, chair, sugar, and so on. If it has any attribute like good, bad, black, and white, it can be captured in words. If it is an activity like he cooks, eats, walks, jumps, smiles, and so on, it can be conveyed in words. If it is a relationship such as wife, husband, friend, father, or mother, it can also be expressed. But if there be a factor which, like the infinite reality, is one without a second, without jati, without kriya, without guna, and without sambandh, necessarily words cannot function in that realm of experience. Therefore, here the Rishi explains the truth as that form which all words can recoil, declaring their failure in all their attempts at capturing the truth in their forces of expression.
So अभी स्वामी जी he cannot go beyond this. उन्होंने पूरे अच्छे से समझा दिया, right? Somebody wants to say, oh, I don't believe this, or then there scientific analysis is also there. There are only 4 type of things you can express by words, otherwise you cannot. And even they बोलते हैं ना कि two lovers, when they sit with each other and they want to express their love, afterward they just look at each other and उसी में से पता चल जाता है. They don't have words to say I love you, I love you. Afterwards they don't know what to say. So that's what it is. Words cannot reach certain things.
The words do not return from the infinite all alone by themselves, but they are faithfully accompanied in their retreat by the mind. The mind cannot feel the truth, nor can the intelligence know it, because the mind and the intellect are but inert matter, and they gain their capacity to feel and know only when they are dynamized by the conscious principle in us. Just as with a telescope we cannot see ourselves, just as a driver cannot be run over by the very car he is driving, similarly mind, which is functioning because of the conscious principle behind it, cannot itself feel or know this life factor as an object other than itself.
So we have discussed that this is the power behind all these things. That's why you cannot see it as an object. Simple words mein dala hai, that's what it is.
He who has come to realize the Atman within himself thereafter feels no fear at any time. The state of fearlessness is here equated with a state of perfection. The lives of all great men remind us that they, after attaining perfection, lived a life of fearlessness and daring adventure. They alone had the courage at historical moments to stand against floods of criticism and yet break the wrong and dangerous flow of thoughts of that era, redirecting them towards better fields in man's life. The infinite alone is the fearless harbor where threats of finitude, though howling and shrieking without, cannot penetrate and toss the ship of life.
So he's just saying in his own poetic language, Swamiji has a very beautiful poetic language, that fearlessness comes from understanding who that Brahman is. If you are in the bliss of that Brahman, you're not going to be fearful. And I think there is another Drishtanta that I have, this may be real story or I don't know, they just made it up, but this is a story that ये आया था ना क्या बोलते हैं सिकंदर इंडिया में उसका I mean English name क्या है Alexander the Great. When he came, so he had some spiritual curiosity, it seems, that wherever he went, he wanted to learn some spiritual stuff. So he was very fascinated by these sadhus of India. So he wanted to meet, so he said, अच्छा वो अपने soldiers को बोला उसको लेके आओ वो साधु को मेरे पास, I want to talk to him. तो गए लेने के लिए साधु ने तो साफ मना कर दिया मैं तेरे बॉस को आना है तू वो आएगा मेरे पास, मैं तो कहीं नहीं जाता, आई एम गोइंग टू सिट अंडर दिस ट्री. तो पहले तो उसको बड़ा गुस्सा आया, फिर सोचा कि भाई चलो क्यूरियोसिटी थी तो गया, रोते पड़ते गया वहाँ पे. और फिर दैट साधु he was standing there, and when he saw Sikandar coming and he came close, this sadhu is jumping, it seems. So Sikandar bola, why are you jumping like a mad person? What's your problem? So he's saying, no, I'm trying to show you that, look at the land underneath me, So that's all I need to jump. And when you die, you are going to just need this much to put your body in. And what are you doing? Look at you. Why you are doing all this land? He was trying to conquer everything, create so much mayhem and things like that. And it seems that after this experience, his kind of thing broke in his head. फिर उसके soldiers ने भी उसका साथ नहीं दिया वगैरह, फिर वो लौट गया, and रास्ते में he died also. And that the whole Drishtanta is when he was dying, his hands were open and he said, while I'm dying, I cannot take my land with me. And then he wanted this to show off to his mother. उसकी mother ने उसको भेजा था कि सबको conquer करके आया, वो कभी पहुंचा ही नहीं माँ के पास land लेके, पहली उसकी death हो गई. But this sadhu was so fearless because they have something much, much higher. They don't worry about these worldly things and all that. And other people have to bow down to them in the end. because of their fearlessness, So anyway, any other question, comment? I think the teacher is also trying to tell the student, telling them about the fearlessness now, that what are they going to get out of it, right? That students सोचेंगे ना कि why should I be realized that Brahman? Who doesn't want to be fearless? Everybody wants to be fearless. So they're telling them the glimpse that look, once who gets this, realize this Brahman's bliss and fearlessness, both are part of it. Yes. No question, no comment. So we all got it, what this verse was all about. Okay. So shall we meet next time now? Shall I close? Okay.
Thank you, Madi.
You're welcome. Welcome back after a long time.
Tell me about it. 6 months in India.
Oh, 6 months in India. Okay. Now you're back in US?
I am back in US. And why don't we close and then I'll call you and then.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhave. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Okay, we'll see you everybody next week. Hari Om.
Hari Om.